Hello, Daniel Yuck here. Thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you. In today's video, I want to share with you how I went about applying these tattoos to these fingers right here. Should you have any questions at all at any point throughout this video, I'm going to encourage you to drop a comment down below and I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I'm going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. If you enjoy my channel and find my content helpful, consider becoming a Patreon or sending over super thanks, as I would greatly appreciate your support. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight on into this. For this video, I'm going to be using this time lapse to demonstrate my points. I will bring another in-depth video and show you all different angles on how I go about tattooing fingers, but I feel like this is a good video to get my points across as well. I want to start with saying that when we tattoo fingers, this is a very delicate area. It's easy to cause damage. If tattoos on fingers are not applied correctly, over time they tend to fall out, and or worse, they tend to even warp and bleed over time, where the tattoo becomes indistinguishable. Maybe if it was like a dainty tattoo, all the details got blurred over time because of improper technical application. I'm also not going to chalk it all up to technical application, because the finger area is just a very tricky spot in general to tattoo. It's important to note that the skin on the fingers is a lot different from the skin that we have on other areas of our body. The best way that I can personally describe it is that the skin is softer, thinner, and a little bit more stretchy than most of the other skin around our body. With that alone, the way that I'm going to approach tattooing fingers is a lot different. You can see right here that I have my middle finger bracing my needle, so that way I have full control over my needle depth, or as much control as I can possibly have on needle depth while I'm tattooing. Find a position that works and that's comfortable for you. When it comes to tattooing fingers, anything above, let's say, a 5-round liner, I'm going to stay away from. I personally don't like to use larger needle groupings on fingers. However, this is going to be a to each their own basis. Every artist is going to be different. For me personally, I like to go with smaller needle groupings when it comes to fingers, because I can be a lot more precise and accurate with where I'm depositing the ink into the finger. When it comes to tattooing fingers, I personally prefer to build up and sculpt the design on the finger, as opposed to blasting the tattoo with a one-pass solid saturated line. It's also important to note that when I'm tattooing delicate areas such as the fingers, I'm using a very low voltage. The reason why I use a low voltage is so that way I get more time to work on the skin. Another reason why I personally like to use smaller needle groupings in areas like the fingers is so that way I could avoid any sort of design blurring and or bleeding when it heals and over time. When my tattoos have healed, when they've aged a few years, I want them to look almost the same as they did when I applied them. I don't want there to be any distortion, blurring. I want the design to hold its integrity over the course of its lifespan. When it comes to actually applying the tattoo, I'm going to be running at a very low voltage, and I'm using a small needle grouping. In this instance, I believe I'm using a Stigma 3-round liner, and I am running at 5 volts. I am using Intense Formula 23 tattooing ink as well for these tattoos right here. I will leave links for you in the description below. The idea is to find a comfortable position and have the finger in a manner where we can have full control over what we're doing on the finger. For me personally, when I tattoo fingers, one thing that I prioritize is my comfortability and positions that I am tattooing in. I like to take a little bit more time to find a comfortable position, so that way I could apply the tattoo comfortably. I think that bridging that gap of comfortability is probably of the utmost importance for me, because if I'm not comfortable before I start applying the tattoo to the finger, then the accuracy that I'm going to be applying the tattoo with wouldn't be very great. So finding a comfortable position and being comfortable before applying the tattoo is key for me. Once I find the correct appropriate positions, I could then tattoo a lot more comfortably, and if I could tattoo a lot more comfortably, I could be a lot more confident. You can kind of see the chain of reaction that's happening from here, just from being comfortable. When I begin to apply the tattoos to the fingers, I always keep this less is more headspace. I could always deposit more ink, but I can't take it out, and that's the headspace that I operate from. I also have to keep in mind that I am using a smaller needle configuration, so if I go too deep, even the slightest of bit, then it's gonna give me some unwanted results. So the idea that I'm using is to be really delicate, be really mindful of my needle depth and my hand speed, and just kind of deposit the ink in certain areas until I've worked one area. That way I can move on to the next. I feel like being mindful of our technical application is of the utmost importance, because as the tattoo ages over the years, if it's improperly applied, then we can lose the integrity of the tattoo. We could have bleeding, warping, the design could be totally lost and unreadable, which is exactly what we do not want, especially when it comes to areas like the fingers. Let me show you how these tattoos healed over the course of 2 to 3 years. Here are the finger tattoos after they've healed for 2 to 3 years. Now, in my opinion, they've healed great. The integrity is still there. We didn't experience any bleeding and or warping or design distortion or anything like that. If anything, the only thing I would say is on the ring finger, there is a little bit of fallout on that sun design right there. However, I can always go back and apply a little bit more pigment, which goes back to the thought process that I mentioned earlier, where I can always add more ink. I can't take any out. So this is perfectly fine. I would much rather have the ink fall out and do a minor touch up as opposed to blow out the entire design and or have the bleeding and distortion going on. That'll be it for this one. I do hope that I can help you in a better direction. If you have any questions at all, I'm going to encourage you to drop a comment down below and I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I'm going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do have social medias under the same name as this YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all under Daniel Yuck. I would truly appreciate your support over there as well. If you enjoy my channel and find my content helpful, consider becoming a Patreon or sending over a super thanks, as I would greatly appreciate your support. With that being said, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.